This week in gaming, Nintendo reveals the Switch 2, and everybody goes, yeah, we pretty much guessed that, yeah. But guys, this is the Nerd Cave News, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined along with my good friend and co-host, the ever known as Derek Daniel. Derek, how's it going, my man?
Man, it's good. It's good to be back, man. Like, I had the holidays off, and now we back with a vengeance. First show of 2025.
I know, dude. Like, I've been champing.
And what a week to come back, too.
I know, dude. Like, the perfect week to come back. Like, last week had a little something going,
Yeah.
but this one was the rumor mill, and you know, it was like Thursday's going to be the day, and I was like, all right, because we originally had planned to discuss Indiana Jones and the Great
Correct.
Circle, and it was like me and you were going back and forth yesterday, and we were just like, hey, if it happens, scrapping the show, we'll do it next time or whatever.
Yeah.
But we need to talk about Switch news. And
Correct.
this morning I got on my phone and I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
So,
like I'm sitting there. I meant to send it to you this morning, but I was running behind, and I'm sitting there putting together, like posting like the articles for this morning, and all of a sudden I see Switch 2, like literally at 7 in the morning, like IGN already has like coverage of the Switch 2 initial reveal trailer. I'm like, well, because I got on initially, and I went to bed last night, and I'm like, all right, maybe they'll announce that, they're gonna make, officially unveil it in the morning. Nothing, and I'm just like, maybe it was wrong. Maybe Nintendo was like, you know what, maybe now is not a good time since it's all leaked. And then they're like, surprise.
like, if I was Nintendo, I would totally spitefully do it. You know, like, be like, nope, that leaker's going to be wrong. I'm going to make them look like a fool, you know, but that's just me because, you know, as Amy has pointed out, I'm a hater. So I would get one of my hater ways and do that. But everybody, welcome to the stream. We hope that you're doing well. Let us know how you are down in the comments below. This is a live show. That means that you are a part of it as well. So we want your thoughts. We want your opinions. We're going to be watching the Switch 2 reveal here in just a few moments. A little bit of housekeeping. Okay. This is a new year. The show is going to have a little bit different flow. As you can see, the names, we have sunset them. They're, you know, off in the mythical land where, you know, Derek pretends that he's a, you know, God King or something like that. You know what?
Hi, God King.
Yeah, hi, God King. But guys, we're going to be having an awesome year. We got a lot of cool stuff planned with not just Nerd Cave News, but Eat, Sleep, Anime, and all that cool stuff. You'll be seeing a ton of more content. So let us know what you think down in the comments below. Michael says, what's up, guys? Hope y'all had a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. You too, my friend. And he's like,
what up, Mike?
Even kind of Christmas colors, the green and the red right there.
Yeah.
But yes, happy New Year. Happy New Year, Derek.
Happy New Year, Zach.
Happy New Year, hey, Derek. Happy New Year, Derek. Guys, we're going to pick on Derek more this year than ever. And I do have an announcement. We've hired Kevin back. He's you know, if there's any technical issues, we know who to blame. Okay.
Right.
He came crawling back the other day. He was like, I'm so sorry, you know, that I embezzled, you know, tens of dollars. Tens of dollars. Please take me back. And, you know, we're giving Kevin a little trial basis. We're giving a little trial basis.
He's on probation.
He's on probation, you know. So Kevin is back, y'all. So put some love in the chat for Kevin. You know, we'll see how he goes. So if there's any technical mistakes in our shows, we know who's to blame. It's not me. Yep. It's Kevin. It's always Kevin, guys. Well, we have an awesome show. The Switch 2 has been officially revealed, and man, oh man, it's one of those things, Derek. We saw it. I looked at it and I was like, okay.
Yeah. If you had told me that, you know, the first news story we covered of the year would be Nintendo related news, I would tell you I don't have that on my bingo card, you know, and I thought like Xbox or PlayStation, but here it is. Here we are. Like, and again, it's one of those things since we do this show, Zach, every week, you know,
every week
on average 50, try to hit 50 shows a year. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but
Mm-hmm.
every week we bring you the nerdy news that you need to know. And when you do that, and when you are very in depth as I am when doing the research and making sure everyone needs to know certain things, yeah, all these articles that lead up is like, all right, here's this patent, here's this leak,
Yep.
here's this rumor. It kind of gets spoiled. But I mean, it's the same thing with PlayStation, right? Like leading up to the PlayStation 5 and the DualSense controller, like all of that was leaked ahead of time, or like rumored, reported, and it ended up being true. So I guess that's just the world we live in now. Like nothing is sacred, nothing you can't hide anything. But it's good to know that this is officially a thing. It's out in the wild. And to bury the lead, even though we didn't get a hard release date, it is coming sometime this year. We'll speculate on that later. But it is coming this year. So it is nice to know that it is officially out in the wild. It will be a thing in 2025. We're getting new games, like they teased one, during the reveal trailer, that we'll talk about here in a minute. But it's just nice to know that this is actually a thing now, and Nintendo can finally talk about it.
Yeah, and we do this each and every week because one, we love video games. Like if you're new here, we absolutely love video games. That is our medium of choice. Then I think anime would probably be second. After that, Derek might be anime first, then video games, because he's a poser.
Oh, okay, all right.
But with this show, it's like we have seen a lot of stuff, and we've seen leaks. And when it got revealed, I went back and looked at one of the thumbnails where we were showed like a mock-up of it, and I was like, man, that's pretty much 1-to-1 of what the leaks were saying and everything. So without further ado, guys, let's take a look at the Switch 2 reveal. We're gonna jump into this. It's gonna be awesome. Come on, Kevin, get it together, man. All right, there we go. So let's do this. Derek, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Starts out super quiet, man.
I know.
There she is.
Yeah. Looks the same.
It's like, get that thing out of my face.
You old news. Oh, bigger screen.
I like it.
Yeah.
Ooh, slimming it down just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
USB-C on the bottom and on the top. That's what I'm talking about. That's going to be nice.
Wild. Ooh, better kickstand.
Oh, that kickstand, baby. Oh, like that right there. That right there excites me.
Oh,
and we're getting rid of the baby buttons, Derek.
Thank God. Hallelujah. Oh, and it looks like it's the rumored magnetic.
Yeah. Will that left Joy-Con drip?
Right.
Will it drip?
It'll still be the bane of everyone's existence. Lay them down? Oh, are they like mouse? Snap.
It's got to have that sound, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
2, baby.
2.
Let's go. It looks like a grown-up's device.
Correct.
More than the Switch 1.
Now,
first
this
Mario
was a surprise.
Kart. Yeah. It is a different one because the art style is slightly different.
Correct. Because I was just like, oh, here's Mario Kart 8 ported over again. And and then I looked at it again and I'm like, wait a minute. It is a little different because people were saying this is a track that they don't recognize.
And I was like, yeah, this isn't part of the like packs and everything. And then when this came up, I'm pausing it here so everybody can read this as well. This was an interesting thing. Yeah, because we had talked about this. Like, they have to make this thing backwards compatible at this point. Like, it's got to be backwards compatible. And then it talks about certain Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah.
I was watching some other like Nintendo creators, and they're like, well, maybe there's like a few things that use like it was like a exercise wheel thing or whatever, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
like what
yeah, Ring Fit.
yeah, ring fit. And because of like the size of the Joy Cons and like the Switch 2, it wouldn't work with that.
Yeah.
It was like two games that they could think of out of like the whole library that might not work.
Yeah,
But
it'll probably be a slim few that won't be compatible. Like
yeah,
it'll be the gimmick ones. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
the cardboard, like the cardboard stuff,
mm,
whatever they did, like the VR mock headset and all that junk back in the day. So I don't think
yeah,
that'll be compatible either.
yeah. It's one of those. Well, it's one of those. It's like you just gotta see what all it is. But we'll see that at a later date. And then we had a little bit more at the end
Yeah.
here. Nintendo Direct,
Right.
April 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, can't put it on April 1st. And then
Nope.
we're going to see a series of events that we'll see around the world where you can get hands on.
Which they
with
did
it.
for the original Switch.
Yep, they did. And this is something that Nintendo has done in the past before.
Right.
With games and all of that. So guys, y'all let us know, like, what do you think about the reveal and everything? Derek, what is something that stuck out to you with this reveal of the Switch 2?
Well, just the sleekness of it, like the more, like you said, it looks more grown up. It doesn't like I didn't have a problem with the Joy-Con colors, like it became a hot collector's item. But just having it be more subtle, like being it underneath the joysticks instead of being like whole thing, it doesn't look gimmicky. Or it doesn't look, like you said, it looks like a grown-up handheld. And I'm glad that they're sticking with it. I think the magnetic Joy-Cons will be a game changer for the Switch. Like instead of having to slide in there, because kids aren't careful with a lot of things. So trying to slide in there, they mess up the tracks a lot of the time and break off the kickstand. So that'll still be a thing, but maybe with the magnetic, it'll be easier for parents to not have to spend another $60 or $70 on Joy-Cons, when Johnny or Susie breaks them off on the tablet. But it'll still, like you said, Joy-Con drift will probably still be a thing. This is intriguing though. If you're still watching it, like the sliding around, like if it's like a mouse, like mouse and keyboard, like if they do
Looks like the
that type of thing, huh?
The mouse thing.
Yeah. So like that's intriguing. I wonder know what that kind of feature is, but we'll find out more in a few months, like 2.5 months from now. My thing is like, you look at this and it's like it almost looks like a Steam Deck copy. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know. Like my only thing is, and I get like Nintendo is not always creative with their sequels, because you had the Wii and the Wii U, which was confusing, stupid, and not practical. What do you think about the name Switch 2? Because this is the first time that Nintendo has actually numbered their console.
I like it, and this is something that I think this is them trying to be more pragmatic with their console because of how poorly the Wii U did. And it's like, this is the first time we've saw our consoles outpace the other consoles in sales in a very long time. And it's like, okay, let's not mess this up. We don't want to be in the same straits as we were before. And it's like our economic climate is so much worse right now, especially in the games industry. And it's like, we don't want to put people in that position. So, let's not be making WNDs, weird Nintendo decisions. Let's actually make it's like, let's make a smart business decision. People want to switch to, they want a more powerful one. And that's some of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit later, is the potential of some games coming to this console, which would mean it is a little bit more souped up under the hood. So I like that it's the Switch 2.
Correct. And again, it goes back to the thing, like, keep it simple, stupid. Like, let's not try and be fancy. Let's not try to be faux big brain type thing by giving it a fancy acronym or subtitle or whatever. Let's just say the Switch 2. Like the Switch
Mm-hmm.
brought us back from the brink of death. It is arguably like our best. It is their best selling console ever, pretty
Yep.
much. Let's double down on this, and let's just make sure people understand this is not an add-on. This is not like a slightly upgradable console like from the first one. It is a full-on console sequel with different attributes, different ones, and like games. Like the backwards compatible I think is huge too, because they kind of did it with the Wii, like with the GameCube, but
Mm-hmm.
their whole backwards compatibility thing has been the Switch Online membership, like digital stuff. So I think being able to do physical backwards compatibility is huge for them, especially on the go. And again, I'd like to see if there's going to be a disparage between docked and undocked, with
Yeah.
graphic quality, but again, I'd like to see how powerful it is, because there's rumors that it's not an OLED SKU. It's going to be like the same HD SKU, from
Yeah.
what I've heard. Now, will they do multiple SKUs? Who knows? We'll find that out in April.
Yeah, I hope that they start with an OLED, but OLED is more expensive. So,
Correct.
starting with that, I feel like is going to be a bigger ask,
Mhm.
for sure. And just to bring in Amy's comment here, a bigger screen and slimmer design is nice. Definitely curious how it will feel. And it does remind me of the Steam Deck. And having a Steam Deck, this does look like it's going to be more comfortable to hold,
Correct.
just because the Steam Deck has a lot more weight. This doesn't feel like holding the Switch compared to the Steam Deck is like several, it feels like several pounds difference, but
Yeah.
I know it's not pounds, but it definitely feels a lot different in all of it. But with the Switch 2, some people want the more gimmicky side of things, and for me, I think they're just refining. It's like you can get into this point where as a creative you never fully refine something, and I feel like this is Nintendo's first time of just you know doubling down and
Mhm.
refining. Like you see that with PlayStation, every time they come out with a new console, it's some things that have came from the last one is like way
Mhm.
better in this one and everything. So
Correct.
I'm excited for them to be doing this. And with the dock and everything we're seeing here, like we are going to get like a little bit up above that, because I don't want the dot to cover the whole thing at this point. Like
Correct.
there's really no reason, and I hope that we'll get like some sort of like indicators, and I'm sure they might not be showing this here, but like that it's charged all the way, or the time,
Mm.
something up there would be nice while it's docked, to be able to see where
Yeah.
the Switch 2 is at that point.
That'd be nice. So, or give you a little, make a little noise when it's fully charged, like ding.
Yeah, something like that, because like having those little indicators, like I know we have like the light down here
Mhm.
on the bottom left, but that never tells you if it's charged.
No.
And being able to see like the time and all of that just at a quick glance would be cool. And the thing that I really am happy about is like the USB-C on top. Like that.
Yeah, I'd like to know what the application of that's going to be.
I like there's a ton of different things that it could handle. We do have the regular headphone jack, which I'm glad that they are keeping
Right.
on this, because people still use that. Like the headphones that I'm using and you're using have headphone jacks. It's like, so use that. But when you're playing handheld and you're like like wanting to charge the device, and Amy can
Mhm.
attest to this, like playing it becomes awkward, because on the Switch it only charges from the bottom, so you'd be like trying to hold it and play it at the same time.
Yeah.
It was super uncomfortable. So having it at the top, it's just like the Steam Deck, you're able to play and still charge at the same time. So I
True.
think that is a huge bonus to it. And of course we're getting it on the bottom as well. But this kickstand, Derek, this
Yeah.
kickstand,
That whole
like,
like being like, because sometimes you don't want to like sometimes it's not a great view just to have it up there, and especially like if you jiggle the table just right, it kind of moves a little bit. So having it being able
yeah.
to go further down, I think will be better ergonomically.
Yeah, and like depending on like how close you are, playing it, and it is, of course, it's going to be a little bit bigger screen. It's like
Yeah,
you might want it laid down a little bit more, or different angle, because the kickstand on the original Switch is almost laughably like flimsy. Like
right.
it's like you barely touch it and it's falling over. This being the full width of the Switch 2 and then being able to go different degrees, I think is going to be huge, especially like if you're on a trip and you've got people that are around it. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So, let me get into some article because I have questions for you, Zach. But let me read the
Mhm.
little like deets just in case like people can't get a full picture, or like need a more details from the reveal that the trailer couldn't tell.
Mhm.
So Nintendo has officially announced the Switch 2 and is set for release this year, though no exact date or price has been revealed. A teaser video showcased vague details, including backwards compatibility with most physical and digital Switch games and exclusive titles for the new console. The Switch 2 introduces magnetically connected Joy-Con that can double as a mouse and will feature a new Mario Kart game. Nintendo will host a Switch 2 experience event worldwide, offering hands-on previews. Notable cities and dates will include New York from April 4th to the 6th, LA from the 11th through the 13th, Tokyo from the 26th to the 27th, and Paris will also be the 4th through the 6th. With additional cities listed, a Nintendo account is required to participate. Nintendo officially revealed the Switch 2, confirming new features and sparking fan discussion. And along with it, the Joy-Con features has magnetic snap-on system, replaces the rail connections. New functionality allows the Joy-Con to act as a mouse. A mysterious unmarked square button appears on the right Joy-Con, which some speculate is a C button. USB-C ports now include two on the top and bottom, as we saw. Backwards compatibility plays both physical and digital Switch games and Switch 2 exclusives. Some older games may not be fully supported, however. Future events, a Switch 2 Direct is scheduled for April 2nd, and we'll have more details then, while the global hands-on event are planned before June. Um, so, we covered most of that. Like, the events happening worldwide is nice.
Mhm.
And again, we'll get more, and they timed it right after the deep dive that they're going to have with the direct. So
Yeah.
here's my question, Zach, or some of my questions. One, because this wasn't a full-fledged unveiling. This was just a first blush, if you will.
Yeah.
This wasn't a major unveiling. Um, and it being several months later, obviously it's not going to hit during tax season like the Switch one did, like in prime time tax return
Mhm.
season. When do we think this is revealed? Do you think they do a weird Nintendo decision and buck the trend and go and release in summer? Or is it going to be a fall release like they did with the Wii U?
Mm. Maybe summer, but I feel like that's too early almost, with April being I
But
don't know, like
but with the Switch One reveal, remember, we got it in January and it was out in March.
true. Maybe I feel like they could have put this out sooner, to be honest. Like they could have
True.
not necessarily the video, but like they could have put the Switch like direct
Oh
sooner
yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
got it out faster and everything.
But yeah,
Um
I feel like with being so late after this initial reveal, or like so many months after the initial reveal, makes me think that it will be a holiday release. They want to capitalize. I think they want to get a little more bullish because they did so well with Switch One, and they want to puff their chest out a little bit. It's like, we don't care what big games come out in holiday season. We're going to release a new console with a new Switch lineup. We believe in our properties and our console that much. We're going to do it.
See, if they did holiday, I like that better than summer. I feel
Yeah.
like that's a weird time to release a console.
But also,
Um,
not a lot of big games launched. Like after June, like July is that weird period. Like, yes, we're going to get
yeah, true.
presumably NCAA again, but
Yeah, but
if
that's not
NCAA,
gonna.
it's not gonna conquer that. I get, but
Yeah,
July is like a period like between June and August. There's like hardly any big releases. in July. So I feel like that would be a perfect time, and it would be a weird. Yes, it would be a weird Nintendo decision, but it'd be one that would work in their favor.
Yeah, I could see that. Fall though makes sense as well because it's like you have the time to hype up and market the console.
And kids are going to be already making their Christmas
Yeah,
list and hear about this. So if parents who are in the gaming realm know about this already, they're going to start saving up no matter how much
yeah.
that is.
Well, and
So
it's like I feel like Nintendo has that staying power, name brand recognition that Xbox doesn't like. Yeah, and I think maybe now it does, but I
yeah,
feel like Nintendo for younger kids just hits. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I think maybe the fall, and we got a few people saying fall in here. Nate says fall, Christmas time,
hmm
around that Black Friday, where people are ready to spend money, because I feel like in the middle of the year, people aren't as ready to spend money. Like they've
they're
already
they're traveling. They're going out to beaches and doing trips with their families. Right before
yeah.
school starts back up.
Yeah, I don't know many families that are just like, yeah, let's buy a console in the middle of the year. You
True.
know what I mean? But I still feel like there's enough people like us, well, me, because you probably won't buy the Switch too, because you never bought the Switch. Um, you know, that's like, all right, I'll get it, whenever it comes out. Like because my biggest thing, and I think this might be one of your questions, Derek,
hmm
how much is it going to cost?
That was going to be my next question.
And I
I
want everybody to put your guesses in the comments as
mhm.
well. And we'll tackle some of these comments here in just a minute from everybody that's popping in here.
My ideal scenario for this, right, is $400. Ideal.
Mm,
However, and I feel like it's kind of calmed down a little bit with inflation. Knock on wood. It's
yeah.
not. It's not been rampant like it was all of last year, where like every 3 months prices are going up. However, I do feel with like the price of everything and the cost of gaming, I feel like they will fall into that trap. I could see it being 450 because I feel like, okay, yes, it is the staying power of Nintendo. It is the household name. It is the Mario games like Zelda and all like it's a lot of games that we grew up on. I get it. But I feel like
Yeah.
if they push that $500 realm, I feel like it'll hurt them just a bit. So I feel like that 450 range will be a sweet spot to where they're making enough capital or it'll be justified just enough to put it at that price, but not overly expensive to where it'll price out a lot of families.
Yeah. I think 450 is like the top
Yeah.
end, in my opinion. Nate says 350.
That
Amy,
that's wishful thinking. Like
yeah,
I get the OLED when it came out was that price, and that's what typical consoles like to do. Is like, oh, our last console, this version of our previous console we did was this price, so we should start with this price. But again, inflation. I'm saying it goes no lower than 400. But then
yeah,
again, they could also do a weird Nintendo decision and do 380.
yeah, 372 and 50 cents. Amy says, yeah, I'm hoping for 400 to 500, but yeah, inflation. And like when you look at, let's say, I'll pull this up as well so everybody can see this. Steam Deck is the competitor
Yeah.
essentially here, and Steam Deck is the starting at 256 gigs is 399.
hmm
And once you hit OLED, and yes, you can upgrade the all of this and all blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I feel like because the handheld market is so robust right now that Nintendo is going to have more competition this time around than they
Yeah.
did when the Switch originally came out.
Correct. So they have to be more appealing. And like I said, Nate says there's no way they can charge 500. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like if they were on par graphics wise with the Steam Deck, I could see them justifying a $500 price point. But because they're not, and I doubt they will be with the Switch 2, we'll see in a few months. But I seriously doubt it with Nintendo's history. They cannot justify a $500 price point. They cannot. So they have to be under
Yeah.
500.
Yeah, I can't see it as well. It's kind of hard to think of a Nintendo console being successful and charging that much.
Correct.
Yes, they do have brand recognition. They have great games, but
I mean, look what happened with Sony with the PS3. They got a little bit full of themselves with the PS2, and they came out and said, you'll spend $600 on a console, and people were like, no, we're not.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be that bullish, but
Yeah.
I think 350 is the bare minimum that they will charge. I feel like 400, 425, I feel like that's kind of the more sweet spot that they're going to be going in, because again, a lot of people are PC gaming, or they're testing out those waters, and the way to test out those waters is with Steam Deck. And if you can get a Steam Deck for $399, well, are you going to pay more to get a proprietary piece of hardware that can't play all of these, fancy things? But again, Steam Deck can't play everything either. Like, everything is not optimized for Steam Deck. So it's kind of, I feel like, if a kid's like, oh, I want a Steam Deck, the parent's going to be like, well, why we can just get you a Switch. You know what I mean? Like a younger kid, I feel like they're going to be like, we'll just get you a Switch.
Yeah, anyone like 12 years or younger, it's like, we're buying you a Switch. Well, you don't need this.
Yeah. Amy says, y'all are making me feel hopeful that it won't be astronomical, but my fingers are crossed. We're just trying to like think about it as like a business. Like, it's like, if you want to sell the amount of consoles that you did, you're going to have to come out with that. Now, I know you got some other questions. I do want to hit a few of our comments here from our awesome viewers. Joe says, I like that kickstand. Me too, man. I'm on, and I'm gonna put it on a poster. I'm gonna have it over here. Just look at that kickstand. Michael says, every tablet or screen that big should include a kickstand.
Facts.
100%. My gosh, like, dude, think about if your phone had a built-in kickstand, how much nicer that would be.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of having to have a stupid pop socket or some crap on it, man, that would be so nice. We're over here just like, old people. Nate says, I'll get whatever Nintendo version is out when James is older. I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. My thing, Derek, and I'll get you back to your questions here in a second, is how much memory do you think this thing is going to have?
That was my next question. Actually, believe it or not.
You see, I got my crystal ball over here, Derek. I'm making them predictions already. We cooking, y'all. We cooking.
We took a few weeks off to strengthen our bond. You know what I mean?
I've been over here training, just like picturing my moves so I don't use any more energy that I need to, like Vegeta in Dragon Ball Super Hero.
Right. So, and
I watched that bit finally. I watched it. Yeah.
Oh, I need to watch. Yeah. Okay, I need to
watch
that.
The movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my thing. Now, the Switch. Correct me if I'm wrong. The original Switch came out with 32 gigs of memory, built internally in the system. Correct.
Let me check. I think so. Yes, 32 gigs.
Okay. And I know they had different, memory cards, varieties, and you had the third-party brand that could go up to like a 500 gigs or whatnot, or I think maybe
they're up to a terabyte now.
Well, I know we never sold it at GameStop, but I know they had that option. My thing is like, I think they want to double down on that. I do think it will be bigger. I do think because of the memory size and like the ability to, if you're going to bring your old games from the Switch to Switch 2, I feel like you have to have a little bit more memory for that. But again, the Switch 1 didn't have a vast library. It was mainly ports from previous games. It didn't have a lot of newness to it other than Breath of the Wild. And it'll probably be the same thing again, kind of, but I feel like bringing that amazing library of Switch games over to Switch 2, you have to have it. So I feel like, and I'm gonna be maybe it's a little reach, but I think on the low end you have to go 256 gigs of internal memory. Maybe that's a little too bullish.
I hope so, because games are just getting bigger and bigger. And even with like Nintendo games, I feel like not all of them, but some
Mhm.
of them you had to like download stuff to be able to fully play them as well, if I
Correct.
remember.
Yes.
Um, and like being limited to 32 gigs in this day and age, because it is not 2017 or whatever
Yeah.
anymore. It's like 256 gigs would be nice. And with having micro SD cards being super cheap,
Yeah.
like it's like, hey, just put something like that. If we're automatically going to be putting those in there anyway, it's like at
Mhm.
least give us a little bit more. Um, the form factor of the Switch 2 is pretty thin, so I don't think they're going to be, having something crazy in there. But
Right.
even now, like you can get terabytes and they're super small. So I don't
Yeah.
know why they wouldn't, but I think 256, because like again, you look at the Steam Deck, that is the starting amount of storage that you get in there.
Yeah.
So
So, and the games are much arguably bigger download sizes, you know what I mean? So, now that leads me to my follow-up question for this.
mhm.
Do you think now, again, we can speculate because PlayStation and Xbox had multiple SKUs for their new console. One was digital, one was physical. Do you Obviously they're not going to get rid of I don't think they're going to be bullish enough to do a digital only Switch.
Mhm.
But do you think they have different SKUs for hard drive sizes?
No, I don't think so. I think
Okay.
they do the same thing they did with the original Switch, and they go with the micro SDs, and they make,
Hmm.
because they've got like Pokemon ones, they've got Zelda ones. Like now that they know people will more than happy buy that junk, they're going
Yeah.
to put more stuff on them, graphics wise,
Right.
and sell people that kind of stuff. But no, I don't think they're.
Attach rate.
Yeah. I think the only SKU that we might see a difference in is an LCD model and an OLED model.
Mm.
I think that is the only thing that we're going to see a difference in.
That was my other speculation too. Is like if we do, it'll be two different like graphics versions.
Yeah.
Mike asks, I don't have a Switch, but does the dock have storage or just used for charging? It is just used for charging. Now with Switch 2, who knows? They could do something different with the dock,
Mhm.
but I doubt it. I doubt it. But we'll find out more in April. But for the original Switch, it was just used to charge.
Yeah, it was charge, and then it did help a little bit on performance
Yeah,
wise, but not. It was. It
night and
wasn't
day.
anything crazy,
Yeah.
anything like that. But yeah, I hope with the dock that we get. I don't think. I think it's going to be kind of the same thing, where we get, you know, it's going to maybe upscale,
Yeah.
because like I think about the Steam Deck, the amount of upscaling you can do on the Steam Deck is kind of crazy, because you
Hmm.
could turn down the graphic powers, like the graphic settings on the game, and then go into the Steam Deck setting and ramp up the upscale, and man, it would look almost on point to where
Yeah.
like, and it's doing it like on a different end of things. I don't think the Switch will necessarily do that, but if they have something in the dock to make it where it's like, oh, I want to play Zelda on my dock and
Hmm.
put it on my big 4K TV,
Yeah.
and like have some sort of like super sampling, resolution, upscaling, blah blah blah. The PlayStation super sampling,
Yeah.
that
PSSR.
thing. Yeah, having that in there would be great. I just don't think Nintendo cares about that.
Me either. I don't think they do.
It's like when you really get down to it, I don't think they care about that. Which, you know, them doing this version of a console is telling me that they're kind of coming slightly more in line with how games are now,
Hmm.
where it's like your consoles get a little bit more powerful each time
Hmm.
you release them. You don't go extremes, because going from the GameCube to the Wii U, the Wii was huge. That was a huge shift.
Yeah.
And then going from the Wii to the Wii U, like it was still a big shift. It was not the right shift, but it was a big shift compared to, you
Correct.
know, what we saw before. But I think this is them kind of like, all right, let's double down on what's worked. Let's keep dancing with the one we brought, and let's see what we can do and push and all of that.
Mhm.
One thing that Joe brought up, this was a little bit earlier, he says, I think the magnet is going to fail within the controller and everything. And one of the things that I saw with the controller on
Mhm.
this, let me see if I can pull up that part again real quick. It's interesting because come on, Kevin, get it together, bro. Is there's two different parts. Then I like the more I look at this, the more I'm kind of like, okay, this is interesting because the middle is not the magnet.
Right.
The middle is like the way the controller is going to communicate seamlessly with the console. The magnets are at the bottom and the top
Right.
of the Joy-Con.
What look like buttons.
Yeah. So that's where we're going to be. And if you look at like the inside of the well, they got all these fancy things over here.
I know.
Like if you look at, let me see if I can go back a frame or so. The insides of the like
Yeah.
the magnets are inside
Correct.
the console, so it's not something that can get knocked loose or something like that. And I know like magnets do lose their pull after a while,
Correct.
so I'm curious
But
long
again,
run how
right.
that's going to work.
Yeah, like how long will it last you? Because, but then again, like with anything else we buy, what is the company's ultimate goal? To make money and to get you
Yeah,
to buy, but they don't want they no longer are you in a one purchase and you're done for 20 years type thing. They are in it to get you to come back and spend more money on them. So if you get 8 months to a year out of it and have to buy new Joy-Cons, Nintendo is happy with that.
true. But my thought, just talking a little bit about Joe's thought, um is what if the magnets inside the console start failing?
I mean, just chalk it up to another thing like Joy-Con drift. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
and I'm not making that as like a throwaway excuse. I'm just saying like it'll be a thing. It always is when you integrate stuff like this, like new type
mm,
of stuff like this into a console or handheld space. So I mean, if it happens, they'll work on it just like the Joy-Con drift. Will they? Now, will I think they'll work on it better than the Joy-Con drift because they just kind of gave up and said it's inevitable. It'll happen. We can quell it for a while, but it'll happen. Um, but I think with the magnets, I think they'll do it, but then they'll work on it to make it better versions later on.
yeah.
Because I mean, they did
Ne-
it. They made the Joy-Con version twos like a year or so after, or a couple of years after release, and they were improving. I mean, the Joy-Con drift still happened, but it wasn't as frequent.
I'm seeing if Nate brings an interesting point up, like recharging magnets. Apparently, you can recharge a magnet. Didn't know that.
I didn't know that
Um,
either.
the old Google says yes, you can recharge a magnet by exposing it to a strong magnetic field from another powerful magnet, essentially realigning its magnetic domains and restoring some of its lost strength. This process is often called remagnetizing or repolarizing the magnet.
Huh.
So
The more you know.
the more you know, and knowing's half the battle. So I wonder if the Joy Cons will be stronger. I don't know. Like this is something that they have to think through
Yeah.
because I don't think they want to deal with again another Joy-Con situation. But
Correct.
if it can be, you know, thought of, have a plan, if it's like a something you get for free. I don't know. I don't know how difficult recharging a magnet is.
Right.
But I feel like this is something that they need to plan for in the long run.
Yeah.
Amy's like, I thought you were joking. Yeah, I like reading it. I'm like, okay, I've heard these fangled words before in science class, but you know, um, Derek, do you have any other questions that you want to ask?
So my last question that I have, and I think this is the most important one and I'm not even like, now, yes, for younger audiences, it won't matter so much. But for the people who are big into this, who over the last 5-6 years have made this more of a priority in gaming, I think this is the question, because it was such a debacle for the Switch 1. Yes, we get the headphone jack back in Switch 2. How will they improve their online functionality? Do you think it will be better on the Switch 2, or will that just be a perpetual Nintendo, circle of, Hades?
Well, they did improve like Nintendo Online as it went.
Mhm.
It's not as bad, but it's definitely not up to par.
But I know, like, the voice chat communication was ungodly annoying, like how you had
Oh
to do
yeah.
that and set that up. So, do
Well,
you think
and
they will improve it with this?
no, I don't, because they're going to hide behind the "we're protecting children" thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not something that they prioritize. Even though like some of their largest properties like Mario Kart, which clearly is, something that they're excited about and want to push because they're finally doing another one after 13 years or something like
Yeah.
that. So I don't think that part is going to improve. Maybe the function of it, the connection will be more stable,
Mhm.
but I don't think the quality of life will essentially improve,
Fair.
unfortunately.
Fair.
So,
So,
well, guys, make sure to subscribe to the Nerd Cave News on podcast services of your choice. We're on Apple, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, all those awesome places. So go make sure to hit the subscribe button on there. Leave us a 5-star review. Mama said, if you ain't got nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. So if you're going to say anything bad, well, you know where you can go. You can go right to Popeye's Chicken, where you belong. Go
and
eat you a
choke on a
biscuit
biscuit.
without. Yeah, you ain't getting no water. You're gonna choke on that biscuit.
Uh,
And you can subscribe to us here on YouTube as well. We've got a ton of awesome content on our channel from now into where we've did stuff in the past and what we're going to be doing throughout this whole year. It's going to be
mhm.
absolutely amazing. You're not going to want to miss a single second of it, because when April 2nd comes, guess what, guys? We're going to be there. We're going to be watching. We're going to be laser focused. We're going to be talking about Nintendo. We're going to talk about Xbox. We're going to talk about PlayStation, because that's what we do here at the Nerd Cave News, among many other awesome things like Eat Sleep Anime, which is available on podcast services as well. Yeah. Zach's been at work, y'all,
Yeah.
on this break. Been at work.
No rest for the wicked.
Nope. I'm pretty wicked, y'all. Guys, let's jump into our next story. Still talking about the Switch. More Xbox games are rumored to be going multi-platform this year. Rumor has it that Flight Simulator 2024 and Halo Master Chief Collection coming to the PlayStation 5 and possibly the Switch 2.
Like, that's why I wanted to add this in, because this was originally going to be like a 2-part story originally, but then this came out and I'm like, I read the articles again and I'm like, let's at least add this one in, because this one is interesting. So Microsoft is reportedly expanding its multi-platform strategy by bringing 2 major Xbox titles, which is Halo the Master Chief Collection and Flight Simulator 2024, to the PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch 2 this year, according to leaker Nate the Hate. Additionally, a rumored Gears of War collection may debut on the PS5 alongside its release on Xbox. While these claims remain unconfirmed, the move aligns with Microsoft's broader initiative, Project Latitude, which has successfully launched titles like Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves on the PlayStation 5. Microsoft's strategy of sharing first-party games across platforms appears to be gaining momentum, with more announcements potentially forthcoming. So my thing is like, okay, obviously there's 4 titles rumored. Last year or the year before, we got, Microsoft started with some smaller ones like Hi-Fi Rush, Grounded, Pentiment, and Sea of Thieves, and they all did pretty well on coming to PlayStation. With, I think, was it Grounded? And I know one was Hi-Fi Rush. Was it Grounded and Hi-Fi Rush, or Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment that also came to the Switch?
It was Grounded and Pentiment.
Oh, so because I thought Hi-Fi came to Switch as well, but
No, it didn't have the graphic powers for it.
got you. Okay, so those came to Switch as well. So if half of these are to be rumored, the obviously, you know, it's been rumored that more Xbox games will be coming to PlayStation regardless. Flight Simulator makes sense because, you know, it's just one of those kickback chill, especially like with Switch on the go, it just makes sense. Now I wonder how the map data will transfer on the Switch too, but I mean, again, we'll get more graphic details and all that. I'm sure leaks will happen closer to the April reveal anyway, but I do want, you know, Flight Simulator just makes sense. Because it's just one of those chill games where you can just go and explore and whatnot. The big one is if they get Master Chief Collection on a Nintendo platform, that will be huge. Obviously, yes, there were rumors last year that Halo and Gears were going to come to PlayStation. That just makes sense. You know, we both believe it's inevitable, but the Halo coming the same year to PlayStation and as the Switch is insane to me. Like again, we know we've had our qualms with 343's Halo trilogy, especially with Infinite and the abomination that was Halo 5. I get it. So they have to pretty much get the name of Halo out there to as many people as possible. But what is this like in the broader spectrum? Like, is this more of a desperation to get Halo's name back in good graces, or do you think this is just a win for Nintendo people?
I think this is a win.
If it's true, obviously, because this is all rumored right now.
Yeah, if it's true, I do think it's a win for gamers across the board, because not everybody has had the opportunity to play some of these games because they, you know, were a Nintendo person through and through, and they never had an Xbox or whatever. I think this is smart business moves with Xbox because they clearly need to make more money with their franchises, because with Game Pass, like, the subscription numbers have gone up and they're also charging more, but they're not hitting the goals that they need to be able to keep that sustainable. And when they have released these games on, you know, PlayStation and Switch, they've done pretty well. Again, like Switch getting Pentiment and Grounded, not that big of like shakers and movers, you know. Those are kind of, you know, nothing against either one of those games, but they're not like the big ones, you know what I mean?
They don't make you run to whatever retail outlet and make you buy a console for it.
Yeah, like you're not hopping on Nintendo like shop and getting it or anything like that. But with it being bigger things like Halo or Gears or Flight Simulator, and this is the thing that's very interesting, these are mainstay pieces of, it's literally Microsoft Flight Simulator. Like it is title card stuff.
It's in the title.
Yeah. Now I saw a post on IGN earlier today, and it's like all the games reportedly set for release on Nintendo Switch 2. New Mario Kart, which was in the trailer, we know that. New 3D Mario, which I hope and pray, everybody be praying that we get Odyssey 2, Metroid.
It only makes sense, right? Switch 2, Odyssey 2.
Exactly. It writes itself, y'all. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which of course we'll get that on this. Pokemon Legends, ZNA, Mario Rabbids. But then we get into some weird ones, Derek.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, if these are true, the Switch 2 is going to be way more powerful than I'm thinking it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be on the level of late stage PlayStation 4, early PlayStation 5, handheld, or it's going to be dumbed down versions of it. I don't know. But here they are. Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth.
Bro?
Assassin's Creed Mirage and Shadows.
Oh, wow.
The Division. Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then we just talked about these two, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, which is a hog of a game when it comes to graphics.
Correct.
Okay. And then Halo, the Master Chief Collection, and then Professor Layton in the New World of Steam. Derek, what does that list do to you now that you've heard it?
That again, I'm like you now. It's like, well, how powerful will it be?
Yeah.
Okay, not to be the hype killer,
You
but
are, but that's okay.
let's be fair. Some of it, like, you know, they got Assassin's Creed Odyssey in certain areas of the world to stream to Switch. How much of this will be cloud streamed or cloud download? You know what I mean? Like that you can there's loopholes around this, you know. And again, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but this is just like they got some more powerful games or like some bigger games that you wouldn't think would be coming to Switch. That with that loophole, I feel like that's going to be also the out for some of these, but still, like online intensive games like Rainbow Six, The Division, that is huge. Like that is like, now again, like Microsoft, Ubisoft has to make some smart business moves because they need any good PR at this point. But at the same time, now I'm deciding, it's like, man, how powerful will this thing be? Like, will we get like a OLED SKU, like 2 separate SKUs at launch? But my also think is like, maybe we revisit that price point, because now if it's going to have supposedly the horsepower to run some of these games graphic wise, that means it's going to be more expensive. So it's like, maybe it's not out of the realm of possibility to push that $500 price point. But again, what have we seen time and time again, arguably since the PS4 and Xbox One? You take a loss on the console hardware wise and make it up in software sales. So again, I could see a world where they could push that $500 price point. But again, if they make it $450 and eat the loss, and they know if they bring the same magic as they did with the original Switch, people will just buy up whatever games are on that console. So it's a catch-22.
1,000%. And these games, like the ones past the Nintendo games, are not going to sell the console. Let's just be 1,000% honest. You can play these other places. Like it is not going to move a inordinate amount of Switch 2s. The proprietary software are the things that you buy a console for. Okay.
I mean,
I know,
with all due respect, Skyrim did not move the needle for Switch. It was just a luxury item for the Switch.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, you're playing a 360 game on a next generation console, or whatever you want to call it, current gen, TikTok. But when you think about it, these games, if it is running natively on this console, it's literally on the same level as the Steam Deck power wise. And if that is the case, it's definitely going to have to do some sort of upscaling processing within that. I'm curious if it is going to be running Steam OS or some sort of Linux based, or is it going to be Nintendo proprietary stuff? Because we did talk about Steam OS going to be able to put on other places. Like they've opened that up to other companies to be able to use. So I don't know. Like, it's exciting,
but also it's like, all right, it's exciting when you read the list, but also like for people like us who are knees deep in the industry and who report on news every week, we kind of take a step back and it's like, all right, what will it cost us type thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I have a Steam Deck OLED, and it runs really well. The battery though, dude, like I think it's like that is something you're going to really have to think about, is power to battery.
Correct.
Like which one are you going to prioritize? Because think about the demographic that is going to be mainly targeted for the Steam Deck. I mean, the Switch 2. It's kids.
Yeah.
They don't care about how powerful the device is. They want to play for hours on that thing.
Correct.
So it's like maybe this is all we're in speculation station right now. All right, guys.
Choo
Maybe,
choo.
yeah, choo choo. Taking that from Kind of Funny right this second. Maybe there will be an option that you can, kind of like PlayStation performance mode or fidelity mode. Like you could pick which one. And when you pick fidelity mode, you're going to be consuming more battery.
Right.
I'm not 1000% sure how they're going to do it. And again, it could be cloud-based stuff.
We'll find out on April 2nd.
Yeah, April 2nd, we'll find out more. And the hands-on events, I think, will give us a lot more because, we'll see people getting more hands-on with these consoles and everything. But this makes me excited, Derek. I know we are kind of like in the middle of the cycle for the other two consoles because Nintendo likes to release in the middle of the other two cycles, because they're not having to compete directly anymore.
Correct. And plus, even as well as the Switch did, if they were to release in the fall with the other two, they'd get eaten alive. Let's be fair.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Switch does well for what it is. Correct. Because it knows what it is.
Yeah.
So I am excited for the Switch 2. Seeing that list, seeing the possibilities has got me super stoked. Wish list items, let me just wish list for some things. Odyssey 2.
Yeah.
That's a given. We already know that. Odyssey 2. Animal Crossing. New Animal Crossing. New Mario Kart, which we already got that pretty much confirmed.
Right.
Eventually a new Zelda.
Right. Let's not bury the lead here. By the way, we're going back to the games like rumored to come, like Xbox games. Let's be honest. Nintendo the Xbox wanted to bring Halo over so they could finally put Master Chief in the new Smash Brothers game. So
will there be a new Smash? That's the question.
There will be. Sakurai, like he talks about it being the last one and how tired he is all the time, but he loves it too much to not put it down. Like that man's gonna be buried at his studio.
He just needs to drink more 5-hour energy drinks and get back to work, is what you're saying, Derek.
Yeah.
Now, Derek, I know you just brought up Skyrim.
Yeah.
Coming to the Switch. Kind of Funny brought this up earlier, and I thought it was a great possibility. Okay. Do we see Elden Ring come to the Switch too?
Ooh. I mean, if they're going to be bullish and put Division, Metal Gear Solid Delta on there.
Delta, like, man, that game is going to eat.
It is. It's going to make your Switch explode with the graphic power that's on that thing. I mean, if anything's possible, right? If they're going to bring games like that to it, anything is possible.
And Final Fantasy Rebirth and Remake,
right? Those things, like especially Rebirth, just like,
watch this is just the original Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, if they didn't say it was Remake and Rebirth, yeah. I would go with that.
Yeah, but it did say it. But that gives me the thought: what about Baldur's Gate 3? You know what I mean?
I mean, again, anything is possible, man. Like,
Amy said, "You speak in my language with these games." Yeah, like yeah. I'm sure Amy's like, "Give me another Animal Crossing, and then I won't have a Switch too."
Yeah.
Yeah, Skyrim was a huge game. But with this generation, I think Elden Ring would be a great pull. And dude, From Software would do it too if they could.
Oh yeah,
they want to be everywhere. So, do we see GTA 6 on the Switch 2?
We shoot for the stars here again.
This is all hypothetical, guys. Right. We don't know how powerful this thing is, but with this list of games, I'm like, all right, we're go big or go home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, it's possible. Like again, if they're going to put both Final Fantasy remakes and Metal Gear Solid Delta on there again, but I could also see them doing what everyone thought when it was coming to PS5, like reporting over GTA 5, and everyone was losing their minds, like, oh my god, it's happening, and then it was like just GTA 5 for the ported over. I could see them putting GTA 5 on there first just to test the waters to see if it'll have an audience on Switch.
Yeah, I think they would though, because, dude, you would know this. How many times did you sell GTA 5 to a parent that didn't know what they were getting for their kid?
Oh, obviously, but I would tell them, like, we were strict as like, hey, like, go overboard if it's like a 10-year-old trying to buy this game and trying to bamboozle their aunt or grandmother, and it's like, oh, it has this, and then they would look at him. But then again, if they would look at him, it's like, yeah, go ahead. It still lives rent free in my brain when it's like some parent, it was a guy buying it for the kids, like, yeah, he sees worse at home. I'm like, what are you letting your child see? Like,
what are you doing?
Right, like, you have free reign in your house, I guess. You must say,
Father of the Year, right there.
Right. So, again, it probably won't matter in this day and age, because I mean, why not? But I think they'll do GTA 5 first just to test the waters. But again, because I don't think 6 is coming out this year, I'm kind of more leaning toward the fact that it'll get delayed till 2026. So I feel like to tie that, like, I feel like they'll do the delay. Let's just say, hypothetical, Switch 2 is unveiled, nothing from Rockstar. Then they GTA, like, say right before not Game Awards, Summer Game Fest. Yeah, that they delay GTA 6. And then they say, oh, but GTA 5 is coming to the Switch too.
Yeah, I could see that.
To test the waters, and then that way, when it comes out, when GTA 6 comes out in 2026, they can be like, all right, we're going to full bore, being it on 3 different SKUs.
Yeah. Well, and like, let's be honest, GTA 5 ran on the 360 and PlayStation 3. It's like that game should be able to run on the Switch at this point. You know what I mean? It's like you should be able to get that game to run on there. But or the Switch too, whatever you're gonna want to call it. Amy's like, y'all grasping now.
But again, if that list is to be believed, anything is possible. Is it really grasped now? If it had shown like lower end games, like, yes, you would 100% be calling us out right now, Amy. But again, that list with graphically intensive games, like, come on now, like, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I'm seeing if has GTA been on. It looks like, yeah, they had looks like they had games on Game Boy Color, Advance, GameCube, DS, possibly. Oh, they got it right now. You can get the trilogy.
Oh yeah,
on so yeah, GTA is on Nintendo consoles. So there you go. Guys, this brings us to our last part of the show. It's time for the Patreon Quick Hits. Patreon Quick Hits are brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Go and support the Nerd Cave by getting your very own Nerd Cave membership to help us continue to make awesome shows just like this one. Become part of the ship, part of the crew at patreon.com/nerdcave. Pick the tier that fits best for you. And if you ain't got any bucks to toss, that's totally fine as well. You can pick up a free membership, get to see all of our announcements, any kind of you might get something that you didn't know you were going to get, maybe
extra bang for your butt.
Yeah, maybe a snake in your backpack. Who knows?
Whoa. No, I don't do that.
Yeah, Derek be putting the snakes in people's backpack again.
No. I don't mess with snakes to begin with.
Oh, really?
Nah.
Is that your fear?
Yeah.
Interesting. Is that why you don't like Orochimaru?
I mean, that's one of the reasons, but you know, it's not the reason.
He's misunderstood, Derek.
Oh,
Him and Itachi misunderstood.
just like you misunderstand his name,
Yeah, Orochimaru.
Aurori Mashu.
Yeah, Derek, take it away to the Patreon quick hits.
First up, Donnie Yen reveals a Sleeping Dogs movie is no longer happening, apparently. According to a new job listing, Sony establishes a new internal AAA studio in LA. Assassin's Creed Shadows DLC Claws of Awaji reportedly adds over 10 hours of playtime. Hitman World of Assassination reaches 75 million player milestone. Let's go, IO. Excuse me. Square Enix aims to protect employees from toxic fans with group customer harassment policy. The 28th DICE Awards nominees has been revealed, with Astrobot, Helldivers 2, and Indiana Jones leading the charge. Rumor, Bungie's unannounced IP, codenamed Gummy Bears, is a cross between a MOBA and Smash Brothers. 3 more games. It's the first show of the year, and we're already talking about closures. 3 more game studios have closed their doors, including Helldivers 2 support studio Toadman Interactive. Rumor, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake details have surfaced and is powered by Unreal Engine 5 and improves on major gameplay mechanics, the HUD, and more. Castlevania Nocturne Season 2 is out now. A new patent from Sony suggests a future where AI is predicting your next move to remove in-game lag. Skate is expanding its playtesting phase to consoles. Warhorse studio writer claims Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's script is longest script for a game ever. Arrowhead Games will be involved in the upcoming movie adaptation, but for Helldivers 2, which got announced last week, alongside a Ghost of Tsushima Legends anime and a Horizon movie. Let's go. But not to a huge extent will it be involved. Dynasty Warriors 10 was in development before it was shelved in favor of Dynasty Warriors Origins. Death Stranding 2 looks to have entered crunch phase as Kojima talks incredibly tough dev period. Street Fighter 6 adds Mai to its roster on February 5th. Nintendo Alarmo is being made available to everyone in March. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, now the second highest grossing video game movie of all time in North America, behind only the Super Mario Brothers movie. Civ 7 has been Steam Deck verified ahead of its February 6th release date. So, Zach, you can play that on your Steam Deck if you so choose.
Let's go.
Ubisoft investors grilled the CEO and CFO on potential Tencent sale, delays, and financial woes. Jennifer Hale says original Mass Effect voice actors should return for the Amazon TV series. Following, Assassin's Creed DLC talks, Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed yet again from Valentine's Day to March 20th. Following that, though, a rumor Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake could arrive as early as next year. Marvel Rivals plans to add a new hero every 6 weeks. Promised mascot agency voice cast includes PlayStation legend Shuhei Yoshida and Deadly Premonition dev Suiri. A Microsoft Developer Direct for this year is slated for next Thursday, a week from today, the 23rd, with looks at Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Doom the Dark Ages, South of Midnight, and an unannounced game we have not seen yet. And lastly, Gears of War Ultimate Edition and Hellblade 2 also reportedly coming to the PlayStation 5, but no mention of the Switch 2. Man, that Developer Direct, Doom the Dark Ages and South of Midnight, let's go. Like, you already have me sold. And again, the rumors of the unannounced game is feeding into the Oblivion remake rumor. So, it's perfect. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not the exciting announcement, because Oblivion was a good game, but I just like something new, like not a remake. When I think of new, I don't think of a remake. I think of like brand new IP, like what we saw from Naughty Dog at the end of Game Awards.
Yeah. Maybe it's Perfect Dark. Maybe we get a little bit more Perfect Dark. But it's announcing a new game, right?
Yeah, no, it's a game we don't know exists yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about Doom the Dark Ages and seeing more of South of Midnight. That I know that's one of our most anticipated games of this year. So this coming up week is going to be great. I'm super stoked for it. And one thing that I saw earlier while I was on IGN's Instagram is the God of War live service game has been canceled.
I didn't even know there was the God of War live service game.
Me either. I was like,
that's fine, because if Naughty Dog's going to cancel their Last of Us live service, it's okay to cancel God of War, because we saw years ago it killed my original PS3 playing multiplayer. A God of War multiplayer game does not work.
No, it doesn't. God, that game was such trash. Such trash. Someone commented on it was a video from last year talking about Santa Monica's like next IP or whatever, next game. And it was like, yeah, I played God of War 4 and 5 and like really loved them. And I'm like, well, technically 4 and like your numbers are all, I didn't say this, but I was like in my mind, I'm like, you don't know the dark ages. you don't know what life was like after God of War 3.
I know, yeah. We got Ascension.
Yeah, God, that game was awful.
And it ascended into chaos.
Yes. Crash Derek's thing. But one thing that I'm excited for, if we do get Black Flag remake, I am excited about that, because Black Flag is probably my favorite of the Assassin's Creed games, other than Bloodlines or Brotherhood. Like Bloodlines and Brotherhood were amazing. I feel like that and Black Flag is peak, absolute peak. So, and I know you love Odyssey, but whatever.
I do, but I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. Like Brotherhood and 2 were peak for me for sure. I never played Bloodlines, but 2 and Brotherhood were peak Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Now I did love Origins, but that's neither here nor there. Guys, that is our episode this week. We hope that you enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe on the podcast services around the world, and catch you on the next one. This has been Zach
and Derek.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye-bye.